That was my rendition of Baba Black Sheep. Have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. And I don't know how it goes. Wait, what? Dude, those lyrics are crazy. Okay, Baba Black Sheep. Have you any wool? So, okay, so first of all, why is it a black sheep? It's kind of random. Baba white sheep. No, it's black sheep. Have you any wool? And the sheep is like, yes, I have wool for you. Okay. Do sheep want to give their wool? Yeah, that's just being like, caw, rooster, have you any meat? Yes, sir, 5 meals full. Like, unless sheep want to be, what's the word? Sheathed? If that's the right word, that'd be awesome. I don't know. Shaved? It wouldn't make sense to ask it. Because then if it didn't want to, it would be like, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Hell no, I want my own. I don't want to be shaved. Interesting song. All of those songs are interesting. I feel like there's a lot of... If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Like, that would put a person into an existential crisis. What is happiness? I don't know what it means. When can I clap my hands? I don't know. I just left Dr. Umar Johnson's house. No, it's his name. Dr. Umar something. No, I left Umar's house. But also almost Dr. Umar Paul's house. Which was really exciting. I had a lovely... some bad drivers on the street today. They're the same place Umar had a bad driver kind of situation too. Dude, so random, but this place in Utah has so many Hispanic people. It's actually insane. Like, I don't know. I did not expect in the middle of nowhere, like in, like, where am I? Like the whole apartment complex. It was kind of cool. I actually really liked, like, yeah, it was nice. It was not. I came to Utah being like it's gonna be all white, but it wasn't. It was nice. I'm glad I get to do this one on my drives actually nowadays. I have a 7-hour drive now, 5 hours shorter than the 12-hour drive I did to Utah. Almost only half, which is freaking phenomenal. I am going to Denver, Colorado, or Colorado, or Colorado. I'm in one of those moods. I miss my mom, but I will call her. I have not called her since the day I got here. Which is definitely a violation, dude. You can't do that. That's messed up. You shouldn't call them for what it does for you. You should call them. But it's not like you're like... Okay, the reason I hate that is because like it takes on this assumption that someone wants to hear from you. Which I'm not saying my parents don't. I'm just saying like you don't know that. But I should call them. So, yeah, let's talk about this experience. I had a lovely time staying with Hummer, man. So, like, it was just dope. Like, very wholesome, healing. Like, I keep forgetting how much of a good time I have around my UCSD roommates. Like, how comfortable I feel around John, Hummer, Dan. Like, it's only until I spend time with them, like, fuck, dude. Those were some of my... I was just telling Hummer, I was like, dude, those UCSD years were so formative for me, and I'm assuming for all of us, that, like, there is a version of those guys, there's a version of me that those guys know that, like, is different than the version that, for example, Mirage would know from middle school and high school. Like, they got to see a very different period of a lot of transformation in those 4 years for me, of who I came into as a freshman, the backwards hat on and the jersey, ready to join Teak, leaving a fucking mathematician nerd by the time I left college. And, you know, Ellis got to deal with a different side. Mylan's been there for the last 6-7 years, seeing different parts in a very intimate way. But these guys are the only ones who saw freshman me enter and see me leave senior year in a very, like, particular way. So that's something I don't often, like, remember. I think there are parts of me that try to kind of, like, push or, like, hold back memories of UCSD. I feel like there's a lot of pain that exists in those 4 years, but also... And here's the thing, when I use these words pain and stuff, I also want to, like, clarify. I never say it from the place of, like, oh my god, I'm such a victim, like, my life was so hard. Like, I mean, not at all. My life was, I'm so grateful, and it was awesome. But pain to me is any emotion that is left unprocessed. And that can be joy too, maybe. This is all new stuff, so I haven't thought about it before, but it might be joy. But definitely the more difficult emotions that are left unprocessed, like sitting there through those. So I feel like my time at UCSD, I went through a lot of, like, painful experiences that what might have been small, but were definitely left unprocessed. And so because of that, I feel that I carry with me this sense of, I don't know, I don't want to look back on UCSD too much. But I think perhaps it's time to really sit there and think about what that experience was like. How challenging it was in so many ways. If I had to think about some of the most challenging moments, I would say it was my transformation leaving my high school friends who completely, right, like that group changed my entire life growing up as a child, right? And I'll just, like, that group changed my life in so many amazing ways. And it helped me develop a level of confidence and swagger and whatever that, like, I now no longer really have, but I still have traces of it, you know, I still have parts of it in me. But so much of that came from the confidence and the recklessness and the bravery and boldness. I was so bold back then because I had a group of 9 other dudes at any moment being like, they got my back. Whether they actually have my back is a different thing, but I felt that they had my back. And it's so cool that I still get to be good friends with Chokesy and Mirage and you know, and still talk to Ishan and Sanjeev and Preston. And, you know, it's cool that, like, for my friends from so long ago. And I want to get back in touch with my elementary school. Like, why disconnect all those parts of myself, right? Like, friendships at some point can be friendships forever. There's no need for them to stop. But I left that group. So the first pain was kind of transitioning, right? Like, doing things that I thought they would think was cool. And transitioning into a version that didn't really care. Right? I mean, for me, I know a big part of the relationship was how much I valued what Sanjeev had to say growing up in my whole life. Meant a lot to me. From elementary school, I looked up to Sanjeev, like, and that's something else to talk about, kind of my fanaticism with, like, male role models in my life. Starting with Vijay, when I was in, he was this one, Rasika's brother. And I was in the 3rd grade, and he was probably in the 6th grade. Yeah. And I like, you know, I was fanatic about him. I was like, oh my god, it's just, I thought he was the coolest guy ever. For a long time, Kishore was that, where I was like, I just really wanted Kishore to like me. I really wanted Kishore to think I was cool. And then Sanjeev was that for a long time. Yash was that. Tejas was that. In high school, it was, you know, Abhijit and some of those other guys. I can't really even think. Samir and who else? I don't know. Yeah, mainly those guys. It's a lot of the upperclassmen. And then in undergrad, it was, you know, Neil Krishnan. It was Brandon Guillory. It was both dudes from my fraternity. It was really Neil Krishnan. It was who else did I really care about their opinion of me? Like in that sense of like, they're so cool as men, I really want them to like me. That would like justify my manlyhood. Definitely them too. And probably no one else. And then gap year, and then after that I haven't really, as of late, is there any men? I mean, always LeBron. Yeah, but as of late, I feel like I no longer kind of carry that I don't give anyone that level of power. But I think I gotta exit 2.4 miles. I think like that transformation of like letting go of that desire to be like, I want Tejas and Sanjeev to think I'm the coolest person ever who did college right and like, you know, was able to like get laid and blah 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 and do all these things and be in a frat and like what the fuck, dude? What were you thinking? Like, it's kind of it's silly. It's cute, little Gautam. But I guess, yeah, the later version of me that watches this would probably be like, you're still a little dummy. Shut up. Or maybe I'll speak to myself nicer and be like, that's sweet. You thought you were old at 26. You're a child. In life. Hopefully. As long as I don't die on this road trip. That would be lovely. But I want to... So that transformation was hard for me to like let go kind of the desire to be like loved by all these good close friends and role models that I had. I guess, yeah, now my dad plays that role. I guess I want, interesting. Yeah. Perhaps I like placed that validation that I wanted from my dad in all these different men. And I was hoping I'd get it from them, this kind of like replication of what it is that I wanted, really. But that transformation was really hard at UCSD. Another one was just the experience of that fraternity and how kind of like painful it was. I mean, feeling so unwanted and undesired and feeling so I wasn't good enough, or you know, I'll never forget missing that football catch, right? Like feeling like I was such a scrub. The story is, I might have already said it here, but the story of that, let me see which exit I gotta take. I think I gotta take the Spanish Fork. I mean, they all go in the same direction. I'm taking this left one right here. Okay, so I'm going east. That would make sense. Let's see. These are beautiful. These mountains are gorgeous, dude. The Utah mountains are freaking gorgeous. Gorgina. I heard someone say Gorgina. It's a good word. Okay, red light. Red light, green light. Yeah, so I was rushing. It was the first, like, maybe third day. I really liked Teak. I don't know what it was that I liked about Teak. I remember this guy named Josh Kane gave me advice. He was like, make sure you check the other frats before you choose a frat, right? Like, don't go up based on the name. I did not know that, but that was some sound advice. I liked something about Teak from day one. I think it was the fact that they had a few black people, and I was like, that's the only one with people of color. Like, the other ones were just all white. And so, yeah, I knew they liked me. I knew there were some people on there who, like, also liked me. I remember this guy named Sai. And he had a friend named Rishi, and they were like 4 years older, and I thought they were pretty cool. And so I was like, damn, this is a frat I want to join. Wow, now that I spent time with Amr, I feel like all these UCSD memories are coming. Maybe today's the day to kind of just talk about it and vent it all out. But yeah, we can start talking about this frat experience. So, yeah, wow. Wow. Fuck. It's just crazy how much time flies. Being in that little dorm with me, Amr, and Dan in the same room, putting on that Vince Carter jersey and putting on those white not even Air Forces, they were something else. They were like these big clunky shoes with those jeans sagging a little, like feeling like I had that little JanSport bag, feeling like I was like top dog in the whole world. I like forgot that I used to like walk around in the planet being like, yeah, everyone's looking at me, I'm that guy. Like I always had that energy. I am that guy 100% of the time. Everyone in this room is looking at me. If they're not, watch, I'll make them look at me. And like, that's fucking exhausting. You know how much effort it takes to like consistently either feel like you're being perceived at that level, or like the lack of humility that you have when you just are able to understand how complex everyone else's world is outside of them existing in yours. I just feel like there's so much missing in my ability to understand how much existed in the world outside of my own story. And I feel like, I hope I'm doing a better job now. I think I'm doing a better job now. If I had to give myself credit on one thing, I feel like I've done well. I think I've really worked hard to like unlearn how centered I thought my life was. And perhaps even in talking about that, I haven't really, I don't know. But I remember that's why I joined Teak. But I remember the first time I had like a weird experience with being in Teak was when I told Vig I joined Teak. And he was like, bro, you joined Teak? And he started laughing. And I was like, what do you mean? It's lit in SD. And he was like, there is this saying in other places where if you can't go Greek, go Teak, which is it's just kind of funny. It's a really funny one. But I remember at that moment being like hurt, because I was like, one of the benefits I wanted to get from joining a frat was kind of like boasting about it to everyone else who wasn't at UCSD, which is most of the people I knew. So like a frat like Pike would have been, it's funny at 26 to be saying these words out loud now. Jesus Christ, it's such a, oh my God. At that point, right, a frat like that would have been helpful for this fucking image of being like, hey guys, I joined this frat. But I realized joining Teak, I did not get that. I didn't get that booster. So I only really got clout inside of the school itself, if that. And so I never paid dues. I remember I asked my parents for money to pay my dues. That's an L, bro. Never, ever, 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 ever. You don't have to anymore, but cannot believe you asked your parents money to go party. That's a fucking L. Never do that. If you want to go party, go work. And I did do that starting second semester. I started working and I started paying for those things. At least that. Call Center G. So yeah. This is my favorite traveling snack. Pringles. Pringle, 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 na na na. Na 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 banana na 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 na. How good. Tau Kappa Epsilon. I remember picking Brandon as my big, and he asked me a question once of like, do you think we would go on a road trip and sing together? And I was a bit hurt by that. Because what it felt like to me is that Brandon didn't really want me as his little. And I really wanted Brandon to like me. No, he didn't. Crazy when you actually spend time thinking about it. Some memories pop up. You're like, what the fuck? How did that happen? Yeah. Wow. Some big spinny things, hella beautiful. But okay, so Brandon didn't like me, and that honestly hella hurt me. I was just like, fuck, dude, like I picked you as my big. I would like to feel cared about or feel loved or whatever it is that bigs do. Did not feel that. So I feel like that was a place where I had the opportunity for a really dope mentor, which would have been sick. But it didn't get to happen, unfortunately. I just remember losing so much weight that pledging season. I lost, I think, like 10 pounds. I don't know. Not eating right. Stressing hella about, like, all the pledging stuff we had to do. But it was so fun. Like, it was just, like, stuff to do with the boys. It was just, like, trauma connections. I'm glad I didn't do any of those Asian frats or stuff. That stuff was intense. I used to go to these like our freshman. Wow. So when we got to UCSD before school started, we were there for about like a week before school started. The Asian frats were already like recruiting. So they would like have these parties and like car a bunch of kids from campus off campus. Then we go to these Asian parties and they were like hosted by the Asian frat. That's why they're Asian parties, not because there were just a lot of Asians there. And they were intense, dude. But I did not really like it. And then wow. I feel like what I was probably feeling at that time was a lot of things were changing in my life, and I did not have the ability to actually identify that. I was so like lost in the everything's changing, but I wasn't able to like spend time grieving that change, grieving the death of being dumb and at home and feeling safe, and that was a hard change. And I feel like, but I was so engrossed in the kind of litness of stuff, thinking somehow that life was a movie and I had to present it in such a way where it was movie-esque, that I lost kind of the pain of change and how hard that is for everyone. Pain does not need to mean like, oh, you've gone through so much more painful stuff than others. That's not the point. A journey is individual, and if you feel that something was a hard transition for you, you get to do that. You're allowed to feel that. And so, yeah, man, I really wanted Brandon to like me, and it hurt, him not liking me, and I just felt little. I just remember not feeling like a man because of my legs, and that always was a thing. I remember I joined the basketball team. I didn't get played any minutes. I remember Darsh came up to me and asked me later, he was like, why didn't you play? I don't know, because I suck. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Everyone's way better than me. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, I think we beat them, though. But, yeah, man. I mean, I remember there's this one drill where you're doing like a 3-on-2 kind of, but you got to box out and get the rebound. I could not get the rebound for my life. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I didn't have the dog in me, or I wasn't strong enough. I think I was pretty strong back then, but I don't know. I just could not get a rebound. So I remember being so embarrassed doing that drill 3 or 4 times, not being able to get that, like they made me repeat it until I was going to get the rebound. And I was like, this is so embarrassing. Connecting back to Umar, though, one of the most beautiful moments is we had a game, and I forgot my shirt back in the room. And I called him, and I was like, I'm going to miss the game. Can you please drop it? I'll run and meet you halfway. And he came in, right? And, like, today, I mean, he needed something for my car. He drove, came and picked it up for my car. I mean, just... Umar is a good friend. And is caring and sweet. And just... that my roommates were the bright spot of that freshman year. Dan, Umar, John, I don't know who else even lived with us that year. Daniel, some other dudes. I don't remember their name though. It was like James. There were 2 guys from China, and then there was that one dude that I remember. I saw something weird in the bathroom, but I don't remember like what it was. My brain kind of fully knocked that out. I just remember seeing something so weird. I was like, how are you doing that in the bathroom? He was like looking at its butthole or something in the mirror. I don't remember. It was something like that. That guy. I guess it's not that weird, because like if you do have something in your butthole, like you gotta like there was only one mirror that was like possible to like look at it, and it was in front of everyone, so you had no other option. So like I understand, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it, but we were all 18, so I don't know. Damn, man, I don't know what it is, but okay, I would say freshman year was traumatizing in some ways. Sophomore year, I think, lasts as my like silver lining treasure of beauty of sophomore year, right? I mean, of UCSD. I think that was the year where I just found peace and contentment and joy in learning, and that's when I fell in love with abstract algebra and linear algebra. And I remember I failed linear algebra the second I got to UCSD because I was not ready for that difficulty. Second year, I did so well. I got an A. I actually am so proud of getting an A in linear algebra because it was hard for me. And I don't think I cheated, and I think I just I took Adderall, which could count as cheating, but I took Adderall and I just studied, and I fell in love with abstract with algebra, linear algebra. Algebra was dope too. I took that class junior year with Yusuf. But coming back to like the transformations that I felt were really traumatic, I would have to say I think the frat just was a really hard kind of, that was, I think, probably one of the harder emotional experiences I had to go through, how I felt in that environment. And actually, I don't think any of those guys are necessarily at fault. The thing is, I don't think it's the people of the frat that were the fault. I think it's the culture of fraternity or Greek life. I think every guy individually at Antique was such really nice and very nerdy, and most of them were very kind to me. I actually don't think it was the dudes on, and I guess maybe that's something I need to identify though. When I say Teague, I think Brandon was actually very cold and mean to me. I think in my pledge class, I really liked Ramiz, Aki, holy fuck, dude. What happened to those guys? I want to call them at some point. Ramiz and Aki. I hit Ramiz. That was the only guy I've ever hit in my life, and that's messed up, bro. That was not right. I was really drunk, and he was making fun of me for, again, freshman year. He was making fun of me for being bad at basketball or something. And I just socked him. And that's messed up. That's so fucked up. Ramiz would never do anything. Like you think you're a tough guy because you hit someone who would not hit you back? Like, bro, doesn't make you so weak. But it was me, Ramiz, Aki, Ruki, and how did I forget his name? Ahmed was dope. Interesting guy though, but dope. He put me on Gunna before Gunna blew up, which was sick. I also just spent a lot of quality time with him. I don't know. I feel a deep... I don't know what I'm feeling right now, even as I'm like recollecting all these things. I'm feeling a sense of sadness. These roads, these mountains are beautiful. I'm feeling... Okay, what I'm feeling right now is, why am I going back into the past to extract these emotions that are making me feel sad? Why not just live in the present where I don't have to think about that and I can be happy? It's like exactly what I'm feeling. I'm like, why am I drawing these feelings out just to hurt myself? What is the point? Am I trying to, in a long story, maybe just paint myself as this terrible... That's the thing I'm not trying to do. I don't want that to... That's not the intention. Nobody did this to you. All that happened was things happened in your life that you were attuned to feeling sensitively, but also did not have the words or the capacity to actually experience those feelings and process them. That is all it was. No one is bad. No, none of that stuff happened. And so, yeah, I mean, all those guys were a really big part of my freshman year. I can't believe how many people I, like, met and knew. And who was my other, like, co-brother? What was his name? He was short and white with the spiked hair, and I'm getting like Ozzy Asler or something. Forgot his name. But yeah, if I could have gone back, I would have done a better job of selecting which frat by actually giving good opportunity to all of them to meet them. I would not have gone by prestige. And thirdly, I would have spent more time getting to know people. That was the whole point. The whole point of the whole one-on-one hangouts when you're doing your little rushing thing is so that you can meet all the brothers and actually like spend quality time with them. I think that's a phenomenal plan. But in that time, I think I could have probably done a little bit more like, I'm cool, like how I talk to people now. I didn't know how to do that. I probably always knew how to do that a little bit, like really get into the nitty-gritty of like connecting with someone. But I don't know, yeah. So I feel a lot of hurt from my experience in the fraternity. I feel very like unloved and uncared about from that. And I tried so hard, I think, to want to be cared about in some ways. And so yeah, that whole experience I think was a lot of pain and damaging. But that was pretty much most of my freshman year. I mean, outside of the fraternity kind of experiences, playing hella games with John, playing like so much beer pong, just me and Azita, and kind of being with her, and a lot of beauty and a lot of trauma and a lot of pain. Oh, this is another traumatic one. Oh, this is a beautiful train. Damn, dude, this drive is sick as fuck. Let's go. This is such a hype-ass drive. Fuck, bro. Awesome drive. This is awesome. I'm actually so happy. I get to fucking talk to myself, reminisce on the past, drive through these gorgeous mountains in my favorite car in the whole world. I have my water bottle full of fucking water, and I have a Beyonce CD that I've been bopping in the CD player. So at any time I'm tired of talking, boom, hit the CD button. Down, got me losing banana. No, that's not even right after, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, wow, these roads are sick. This mountain are so cool. I love mountains. Staying with Amr, the sick part was in the Utah. Like, his house is fully surrounded by ginormous mountains, like a 360 almost. It was cool. I've never been in a place like that where full 360 you're just mountains. Got me losing. So UCSD. The other very painful one was just like coming back home and recognizing when I was home how hard it was for me to love Azita and like care about her. And something would happen to my brain where I would just like switch off. Literally, it would turn off. My brain would stop functioning. And that was really painful. Like, it was very painful for her. Because like I would be so loving in this different guy when I was at UCSD, and then I'd come home and I'd be like, I forgot what love is, and I do not feel that. And that would happen every time. So every Thanksgiving break, every winter break, every summer, right? Where it's just like I felt so disconnected because I could not tell my parents how much I cared about this woman. And I also could not give her my fully because I knew how much my parents were just like disappointed, how much lies I had to do to go stay with her, hang out. So much lying. So it was painful in both ways. I didn't want to lie to my parents, and I also wanted to be better for her. And I picked not disappointing my parents more than I picked being better to her. And that was exhausting going through those roller coasters. She would always be like such a loving version when I was at UCSD and such a different version when I was at home. That's an exhausting roller coaster that no one deserves to be put through. So that was just exhausting, that first and second year. My freshman year summer was one of the dopest summers of my life. Because that's when I taught. At Camp Edmo, and I did door dashing, and that was a nice summer with me and Azita. I think, I just still remember one of the last days when I got to show her the school and show her the classrooms, and I remember how special that was to me, and how special that experience was, how happy I felt teaching, and how I felt like I had everything I needed in the world at that time. Right? I mean, that going into that summer, into that next sophomore year, I feel the to what a conventional life should have been. That was the closest I ever was. I had a good relationship. I had a job that made me money. I had good friends. I had a pretty good relationship with my parents, and I was very settled and grounded. That was that freshman year summer into sophomore year. After that, I have been so displaced. And so this is just freshman year, I feel like. Sophomore year was very different. That's when I became a lot more committed in the relationship. Like, cheating was no longer a question. It was just like, I'm here. We moved into the beautiful lowers, which they removed at UCSD now. I got to spend so much time with Dan and Umar and Daniel. I fell in love with Daniel. I loved being around Daniel. So funny, just a happy guy. I did so well in school, and I did start taking Adderall. I did my best I've ever done at UCSD that semester. I almost had all A's. I had one B, I had all A's and a B one of the first semester. I was so proud. I remember compared to Aditi, I was like, I finally beat you, sis. I finally did better than you in one school year ever. So I was really proud of that. And she must have had a completely different journey at UCSD. I remember I'd run into her a few parties here and there, so it was an interesting experience. She's always been an okay friend, I think. She's never really like checked up on me or called me. Or I think in a lot of ways, I don't know if she makes a very good friend to me. She's probably a great friend to other people. But yeah, so sophomore year, what happened that year? Not much, I don't think. Sophomore year was pretty chill. That's what I'm saying. It was very simple and routine, and I did all the things that I was supposed to do. I was like very committed to being in the frat the first semester. I thought I was being a good frat member. I did my best, and then I realized like the pledges didn't like me either. Like people didn't. Oh yeah, the pledges were. I thought the pledges then liked me less than the people who were already in it. So I felt like they didn't respect me at all, and that was like an interesting kind of situation. So I didn't really feel desired in the frat. So after that, I left after the first semester. Second semester, yep. Stopped showing up to everything. I remember once I posted something about leaving my fraternity on Instagram, and I remember they had like their own little like final dinner or something, and they had a post of like who's like the ugliest in Teak, and right after I posted that, I was one of the names on there. I had been kicked out of all the pages and everything by then, so a kind of ugly ending. But yeah, so that happened. Fuck. I had a really hard time academically at UCSD as well. I think sophomore year is when I had to write that essay about if I was a role model and this and that. And I remember just like how profound of an experience that was for me, writing about Sanvi and Shruti and kind of writing about just these kids who like did look up to me. You know, in some ways like I do recognize now that I am a role model. The same way Karthik and Mira were role models for me growing up, where they were like kind of the older generation to have done it first. I am that for a lot of other kids. Maybe not a lot, some. They probably have a hell of other friends who are my age. I'm definitely the only one who like does the weird shit that I do, I think. But I don't care. Got me looking so crazy right now. Yeah, man, sophomore year was hard. When sophomore year ended, I really confused about the relationship with Azita. Going into that summer, I spent the first month at UCSD, and me and Akash spent a lot of time together. He would come over. I'd kind of tell him about what I was feeling about in that particular time with my relationship with her, and I felt like I needed to end it. And so I ended it. I still remember her texting me when she's like, "I'm proud of you for having the courage to end it." And she was still nice to me at that point. I guess a lot of the pain about UCSD also just comes with how it ended up with Azita, dude. Like, why can't I admit two things at the same time? Why can't I admit that I loved her deeply and have not loved another person that deeply since? And I'm not sure if I can or will. Why can't I just admit that? Like, why do I have to somehow twist it into like, but it'll work out? Like, I'm not saying it's not gonna work out. What I am saying is, in that particular aspect of my life, I have not loved someone as deeply as I have loved Azita. I cared about her. And that is something that I know I may not have treated, whatever. I know all these other things, but I know when I was with her for those 2 years, perhaps I didn't feel that after we had ended. But in those 2 years, I knew, if only, I wish in some ways that my parents were involved and her parents knew me, but, you know, if I was closer to her brother, if I had reached out for help in some of the situations to her friends or brother, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to be there for her, if I just was better, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, like, I didn't know better, but if I knew better, I would have done better, and I am so, I don't wish to go back and make it work. I wish to have gone back and, like, done it justice. I don't mind that it ended. I do mind that I didn't do it justice. I didn't do her justice. And that just, like, bothers me. And so I guess, yeah, sophomore year, the biggest pain was just, like, all the things that she went through. And, like, how much that hurt. Just, like, hurt me seeing her suffer and being like, I can't do anything. Fuck. That was, like, the constant feeling. But I really did love her. And so, yeah. So that happened sophomore year. I ended it that summer. Or no, I went to... So first month I was at UCSD. That's when I thought to break up. I went to India. Then I came back and I stayed at home for a little bit. That's when we went to Rolling Loud and everything together. And I came back to UCSD for a little bit before school started. That's when I ended it. And then that's when we moved into Crossroads. And I stayed with that random woman. I think the order might have been wrong. I don't remember what happened first. I remember I stayed in school. Then I think that's how it worked. I stayed in school. Then I went to India. Then I went home. Then I went back to school. I think that was the order. And so then, yeah, at that point, Dan and Isabella broke up. And me and Izzy were fully done. I went to Riverside to see her maybe once or twice, and then it fully ended. I think she blocked me, and I think we stopped talking. And then I think I saw her next senior year at the club, and then we started talking again, and then we talked for the next, like, 3 months, and then it ended terribly in December of 2019. And then I have not talked to her, or she messaged me that one time, hella mad, but we have not communicated back and forth. I've sent her a text, but we have not communicated back and forth since December 2019. But I know she's doing fine. I think she's alive, and if I could pick, like, an ideal situation, it wouldn't be to be, I don't think it's like, oh, I want to be friends. I think I would be very confused and conflicted if we were. But I'm just like, fuck, dude. I guess maybe that's a part of why my memory is so bad, too. I'm like, dude, that relationship meant so much to me. I think I just have so much hurt around it. I feel like I have so many, like, conflicted feelings about how I feel about that relationship and how I feel about her. But at the same time, I don't know, like, I just want to, do you, like, think about me ever? Like, am I even something that pops up in your mind? I know you dated, like, 3 other dudes or whatever who you, like, wanted to marry, or, so I'm probably just, like you said, I'm just a nice person who took advantage of your kindness. She was like, you're just a person who took advantage of my kindness. Like, that's what she said. Like, I know that's probably all I am, just like a messed up dude that you hate, and and I know you had meaningful relationships before me. But I'm just like, fuck, like, was what we had special in any way or shape or form? Or, like, no. Like, is my perspective of that relationship different than, obviously it is, but how different is it? Like, what do I mean to you? Do you ever think about me outside of, like, I hate him? Like, do you ever think fondly upon me, like, ever? I'm just like, did I do anything right? I don't know. But yeah, man, that was a tough relationship. And yeah, so then junior and senior year were just messes, bro. I lost all my roommates. Dan started hanging out with this other girl who was doing her Stanford PhD a lot, and then he was just he was doing his own, like he was like a badass at this point. You know, he slept early, no longer had time to really hang out with us unless we were like playing a game or something, like Rocket League 2. And I feel like he just became like hella reclusive from the rest of us. He would go surfing. I could have surfed more with him. I would have done UCSD hella differently, knowing what I know now, if I had that time and resource then. I don't even know what the fuck I was doing. Like, what the fuck did I spend all my days doing? Like, I should have, like, learned how to surf, or I should have done all the rec class, or I should have, I don't know, but also it's hard. I mean, I did, was taking care of so many things. I mean, I was working, and I was, paying for everything, and I was making food, and I was, doing school, and I was trying to stay in shape, and I was trying to do it all. I mean, I did that all in grad school too, but I also spent time, I think, in more ways, like, to live, to learn through experience, right? I didn't really have that perspective in undergrad. I didn't even know what I was trying to do, honestly. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was not looking for a job. There was no question in my mind at any point, was I looking to work at a corporate job? I think I've always been down for research, but there's no question in my mind, I was never like, of like, why don't, what the fuck was that? Why don't I go work at some tech company and be what would I didn't even know anything. I didn't know data science then, nor did I know, like, I just knew mathematics. I just had a good ground base, but I couldn't have done anything. Now I can actually go be a data scientist. Back then I didn't actually have any, like, particular skills. But yeah, I would have had to become a software engineer. Jeez, I mean, that life would have just been very different. It would have been maybe better, worse, who knows, but just very different. But here I am, working on writing a book. So, different lifestyle, with a lot less money. But I did start singing junior year. I was singing sophomore year with somebody, I forgot his name, a guy in India who was very strict and I didn't really enjoy him. Then I switched over to Arunagiri, changed my life. Best teacher I've ever had him, started junior year. I think I stopped probably after senior year, but just best teacher ever. That junior year, summer, I was working at that Intuitive Surgical, Intuitive. I think it's Intuitive Surgical. I don't know who knows. I think they just call themselves Intuitive now. So great job. I mean, not great job, but great job for me for working there for maybe 33 an hour or something, and I saved a lot. Didn't spend it on much. Went to Hearts when Ishan had that whole thing happen. That was that summer. Yeah, junior year is when I met Mylan, Vishu. Right, I started spending. Sahib left. I didn't really have friends. I met Yusuf and started hanging out with Yusuf tons. A much better group of friends at this point around. Senior year, same friend group. Jeez, but that's like when Verna happened. That's when, oh my god, there's just so much like mess around Verna. I mean, like, dude, Verna is one of the most fucked up people I've ever met in my life for how she treated me. That was by far. That is a situation where I would say I am a victim in that situation. She sucks. And then there were a lot of girls that, whatever. Oh my god. That's when, what's her name? The lawyer from, I have bad luck with lawyers. The lawyer, when I met her at Rolling Loud, when Simone, or whatever. I don't even know anyone's name, dude. That's how bad this is. This is so bad. I don't remember anyone's name. And all the other people. Just like when I met them, you know, or like just a mess. That one girl who loved like Hennessy or whatever from the Bay, and then like just the other one that I watched that Disentangled or some show like that with and played Mario Kart with. Oh my god! And then the girl I met at that one party whose glasses fell. Man, and the crazy thing is some guru or something told my mom that year when she went, right? Like before, she was in India that December. That guy told her, this is going to be a dangerous year for Gautam with women. Don't, just advise them. That year was the worst year of my life with women. The worst. So toxic, oh my, I should have stayed the fuck away that whole year. I should have been a saint. Should have listened to that guy. He was so right. So right. That was such a bad year. That was a mess. Such a mess. And then senior year started again with the Zeta and Verna, and both ended up badly. And then COVID happened. And then school ended. And then my life turned so much for the better when I left Crossroads and moved into Putman. That's when my life started turning to get better. Putman changed my life. The trajectory of my life would change after Putman. And being loved and spending time with Gonzo and Tauntaun and John and Mylan and Jay and Ishu, and that was during COVID, 2 months, best months of my life. Started studying for the GRE, had a mission, had a drive to get to grad school, went back home, took the GRE, did really with 98% on writing. I could not write for my life growing up. All it takes is a reason and practice. You can do anything. I like English I love math. I also love English now. And so, anything can happen. You just need the reason why to learn. So, did amazing on the jury. And then my life changed. DC changed my life. That year traveling changed my life. India, Europe. This 2024 has been one of the most beautiful years of my life so far. How many people I've been able to spend time with and see and connect with and experience and love. And so in conclusion, Amr, Dan, Daniel, and John, what they meant to me my sophomore and freshman year, were kind of the beacon of hope for change. To want better, to be better. From Dan, to learn to care about learning, to love doing things, exploring, trying stuff. From Amr, to learn to be empathetic and caring and trusting. From Daniel, to laugh, to be stupid. From John, just to understand, not be so mean all the time. Understand different perspective. I will forever be indebted to those four. And the rest of UCSD, right? So many. So many people. I will forever be indebted to. So spending time here with Amr made me realize, like, open up a lot of that. Even being with Yusuf, I think I did something similar where I was just like, dude, I don't want to shy away from UCSD Gautam anymore. I don't want to shy away from any version of myself anymore. Seeing Neha was so beautiful. Spending time with Neha was lovely because I was like, dude, that door is now open. I am not running away from who I was in the high school anymore. Fuck that. I am sorry for what I did, and I'm going to do my best to continue to learn and be better. But I want to open those doors again. I saw Aditi, I saw Neha, I talked to Pavitra, I talked to Kalyani, I saw Nishok, I saw, like, let's open up the doors to just all these people again. I saw Manik and Tushar, and I saw Rishi and Charnindu, and, right? Like, I'm proud of you, Gautam. I'm fucking proud of you. You've come a long ass fucking way. I don't care about all these other things. I get it, but it is a journey and it is a process. And I am so proud of the journey that you're on. I'm just tired of feeling like you're not good enough. Gautam, you are fucking good enough. You are enough. All you know is that you put your best foot fucking forward every goddamn day. And it doesn't have to be towards some capitalist goal. But whatever it is that you do, you put your best foot forward and you try. I know you're not the best friend. I know you're not the cleanest. I know there's so many things you're not the best at. But one thing I do know is that it is not because of a lack of effort. Sometimes they're just things that I'm not paying attention to. Other times it's not like, oh, I want to incite anger in this person, therefore I'm not going to do it. I try my absolute best. And this drive is fucking beautiful. But I'm just proud of you. This period of your life will also be part of the journey one day. When you're 30 and 35 and you look back on what it meant when you were 26 and you were traveling and you didn't have a job and you were just trying to build this thing and all of this counts, man. In your journey it counts. It is meaningless in the journey of this car I just passed. It's meaningless in the truck across the other side of the highway. Like, to them it means nothing, but to you this journey is important. And I'm so fucking proud of you. For all the effort that you put in, for all the desire to be better and the effort. I think you need to hear that from yourself. Thanks for saying that. Imagine you just have two brains that talk to itself. Hey, you can do it. Thanks, I can do it. I know you can. Do better. Thanks. No. I don't know how this video journal works. Which Gautam am I talking to? But that's a separate philosophical question for later. But I am proud of you, Gautam. I love you. I thank you for laying out UCSD. And we talked earlier, what was the point? Is it just to go back? I don't know what the point is. But I just want you to sit there and reflect on how much life has happened since then. Don't compare your life to another. Let that go. It is not more life has happened to you than that person. No. It is fuck all of that. A lot of life has happened to you. Not because I'm defining the word lot, because that's what it feels like. When I think back to UCSD, I'm like, that feels like an eternity ago. I don't want to think about lot in comparison. That's an endless game, not possible. But I want you to sit there and really reflect on Mylan once called your life beautiful. You've never thought to use that word to describe your own life. But understand that that's what it is. Your life is beautiful. I'm so proud of you. Keep going. You are loved.